Hi and welcome to part 2 of my ratings of 2019 and sticking around to see whether I continue to keep them at the same rating they were last year. Now I know that this is a lot of books that I have rated quite highly last year, and I am really pleased if you decided to join me again. So without further ado, I'd like to continue with none other than J. Kristoff. I am obsessed with Nevernight and I gave it 5 stars and it's not budging, because this was something that got me out of what felt like it was becoming a bit of a dip with my reading and my mood, and it just pulled me straight back out of it. I swapped between physical and audiobook just purely because it was a little bit easier to keep track of things at times, and also the narrator for this on script was just hilarious at times. I really enjoy the fact that we follow Mia becoming an assassin, purely because it's the struggle then of once she does become an assassin, she realises that this is something so much bigger than just her family dying, and she's having to decide now whether it is a case of she still wants to take revenge for her family or whether she can help protect the world to a certain extent. I'm not so sure about the world, but help protect the city that she's living in. I just thought that Mia was incredible. She is strong, she is fierce, she does not need anybody, which I love. However, my favourite character does have to be Mr. Kindly. He is sassy, he doesn't take any crap from anybody, and I am here for it. I absolutely adored this book and I'm really looking forward to moving on to God's Grave. I will be doing that soon because I have ordered the Illumicrate hardback editions with the black sprayed edges to match my Dark Dawn sprayed edged hardback, and that should be here soon. So once they appear, I think I will be doing a reread of Nevernight and then also moving on to God's Grave and Dark Dawn. Another one involving J. Kristoff is Illuminate, which he co-wrote with Amy Kaufman. Now, I gave this a 4 stars because it was my first time reading a book that had mixed media in. I also struggled a little bit at times with the fact that it is such a long book. It was very intimidating. So, Strange the Dreamer by Laini Taylor got 4 stars for me. I definitely feel like this was a book which was a lot more in-depth in the fantasy world than I had delved into before. I don't think I appreciated it probably as much as I would if I read it again. I really would like to reread this because 1, it's a beautiful floppy paperback, and 2, I know that when I was also swapping between physical and audio, I laughed so hard, and there were so many times when I laughed out loud at work when I had my earphones in on my break, and it just, yeah, it was heartwarming, it was funny, it was so enjoyable, and I definitely think I may need to up it to a 5 stars because for what it is, it deserves more. Next up is Shatterby by Tahira Mafi, and again, I read this quite a while ago, so I'm not 100% sure whether I can remember everything it was about. I get a lot of superheroes in my head. People with special powers, special suits, having to go to a academy where they are safe from people who want to use them for bad things. And yeah, we have a fragile teenage girl is held captive, locked in a cell by the re-establishment, harsh dictatorship in charge of crumbling world. But Juliet is no ordinary teenager. One touch from her can kill. The re-establishment wants to use her as a weapon, but Juliet has other plans. After a lifetime without freedom, she's finally discovered the strength to fight back and to find a future with one person she thought she'd lost forever. So, I think I gave this a 4 stars. I really enjoyed it when it came to... I wasn't expecting it to sort of go down the superhero route. I think that was what knocked it down. It was originally going to get a 5 stars from me, but I don't know. I think it all became very cliche. The fact that she had superpowers and then she ended up going to this place where other people had superpowers, but then all of a sudden they needed to provide her with a suit which was accommodating to her special powers, and it all became very X-Men like. And also when it came to the super suits, I ended up just thinking of Edna Mode out of The Incredibles, and that made me giggle, and then I lost concentration. And yeah, I own the next 3 of this and I haven't picked any of them up yet. I don't know whether that's because I just am not feeling the idea of her becoming a superhero, but I'm not 100% sure. I will try and see, but I definitely think I will keep it as a 4 because I did enjoy it. And like I said, the thing that knocked it down from a 5 stars originally was the super suit thing. Now we have another middle grade which I'm going to hold up to show you, and then I'm just going to put it back down because the glare will be unreal and there'll just be no point in me holding it up. So that is Ink by Alice Broadway, which, like I said, a lot of glare. I rated this 5 stars because it was definitely read at the right time. I was feeling quite low. I didn't feel like myself, and a lot of things had gone on to make me forget who I was inside. And as cliche as that sounds, that was the case. When I then read Ink, I found that this girl was pretty much feeling the same, and she was fighting to find who she wanted to be, not who everybody else wanted to be or who she was expected to be. It was who she was deep down. There were a lot of quotes in this book which I think I will definitely reread because I want to tab it up and pull out some of the quotes from there, because I remember reading a quote and thinking, I really needed to hear that. I haven't gone ahead with reading the rest of the series because I am worried that it's going to ruin it for me. I don't know how you can move forward from this particular book, because to me, one, it could have been a standalone very, very easily. But yeah, I don't know whether it's going to spoil it for me or not. I might, by chance, if I can pick it up from a charity shop or just cheap pre-owned, then I might do so. But yeah, so we'll see. But it's a really good one. I enjoyed the idea of your stories being tattooed to your skin. Not so fond of the idea of your skin being cut off you in order to make your book of life, but I'm sure there's another name for that I'm completely bypassing. But yeah, I really enjoyed the book and I definitely recommend it if you feel like you need that uplifting. Next up we have The Beast's Heart. Again, there's slight glare from it, so I'm not going to hold it up for too long, but this is from Leaf Shallcross. I'm going to apologise if that isn't how you say the first name, because I tried googling it and it wouldn't even say it back to me. So yeah, but The Beast's Heart is another retelling of Beauty and the Beast, except it's from the Beast's perspective to an extent. I am neither monster nor man, yet I am both. I am the Beast. I know why I was cursed. I know the legacy of evil I carry in my tainted blood. So how could she ever love me? My Isabeau. She opened my eyes, my mind and my heart when I was struggling just to be human, and now I might lose her forever. Everything about this makes me want to reread it. I've already read it twice, but I want to reread it again. I normally say that with retellings, they automatically get a high rating with me because they are just retellings. You can't expect too much from a retelling, especially with Beauty and the Beast. I think it's been done quite a bit, and I think the best chance of you having a high rated Beauty and the Beast retelling is to step further away. I have not read a book from the Beast's perspective, I don't think. It was a nice change. There was definitely a fresh perspective to look at it from, and yeah, it was a really good read, and I gush about it all the time. Whenever anybody says I need a good book to read, this is one of the first ones that I suggest. I think I've even got Claire to add it to her owls for the month of April, because I just want somebody else to read it. I want somebody to talk to about it, because everybody else I know hasn't read the book and I need them to. And the author herself is just a lovely woman, and she's an absolute dream to talk to. She will talk to you about cups of tea. She's fantastic. I think she's amazing. She's lovely, and if that doesn't make things better, then I don't know what will. Next up is The Odd Sisters, and that is part of the Disney Villains series. I have heard that they are going to bring out another one. I was really hoping they wouldn't, because this rounded things off so well. Throughout the entire series, the Odd Sisters has been mentioned. They have appeared in different places and we have had glimpses of them, but this book is giving us insight into how they became the Odd Sisters, how they became known by that namesake. I thoroughly enjoyed reading about them because it felt like this was going to be it. It felt like this was going to be what closes the chapter for us. However, like I said, I know that they are bringing out a Cruella de Vil book. I'm not sure how that's going to tie in with everything. I don't know whether it is a follow-on from this or whether they are starting a new set of Disney villains. But I gave it a 4. I really enjoyed it. I just didn't enjoy it as much as some of the others. Like, I really enjoyed Fairest of All. And yeah, I think I read, it's a shame because I actually think I read those before I started properly documenting my reads on Goodreads. But that series in general is just fantastic, so if you do get a chance to, then I would definitely pick those up. Again, another one that I constantly recommend to people who want retellings or something light-hearted and easy to read. But this is the truth about the Odd Sisters being revealed. So throughout the course of time, through witches Lucinda, Ruby and Martha have changed the fates of the greatest villains ever known. They've turned innocents into monsters and left chaos in their wake. Now those they have wronged throughout the many kingdoms demand justice, and the secrets of the twisted, diabolical Odd Sisters are about to be revealed. So as I said, it sort of brings everything to a close. So I'm not 100% sure where Cruella de Vil is going to fit into this, but we are about to see, because I know that it's due out this year, in a few months I think. I think we could keep it to a 4. But then maybe because I said I think and I'm saying maybe we should put it down to a 3. I don't remember much about the book. I mean, I know I enjoyed it, and I remember thinking this was going to be the end, and I thought it was a really solid way to end everything, and I enjoyed how they tied it all up together. But yeah, I don't really remember a huge amount, so maybe it shouldn't be a 4, maybe it should be a 3. I will have to sit and ponder that one, because now I'm questioning myself. Along with the Disney retellings, we move on to the Twisted Tales of Disney, and this is Mirror Mirror by Jen Kalanita. Now, this isn't the usual author. The books started with Liz Braswell, and I'm not 100% sure why, but unlike the Disney villains who remain written by Selena Valentino, the Disney Twisted Tales have now started being written by different people. I think it's so many books get written by one author, and then another couple of books get written by a different author, and then another author pops up. But I gave this a 4 stars because I did thoroughly enjoy this. I definitely like the fact that the retelling was quite far away from what you would expect for Snow White. I also liked the fact that there was forgiveness and different types of relationships being mentioned rather than just love stories, which obviously appears a lot in Disney fairy tales. There was a lot more concentration on family love, family relationships, rather than just solely based on romantic relationships. So yeah, it was a fun time. Again, rating it a 4 stars. I don't really remember a lot about it. I'm having to glimpse at the back of it, and even then I remember that the prince went to sleep. Or did he die? See, maybe it shouldn't be a 4 stars because I can't actually remember what happened. Maybe it should be a 3. This is probably going to end up being the recurring theme. I also had Part of Your World, which is the retelling of Little Mermaid, but it focuses on Ursula. And I probably enjoyed this one more than Mirror Mirror, even though it's still a 4 stars. But I think we've established now Mirror Mirror is moved down to 3 stars. It's been 5 years since the infamous sea witch defeated the Little Mermaid, taking King Triton's life in the process. Ariel is now the voiceless queen of Atlantica, while Ursula runs Prince Eric's kingdom on land. And when Ariel discovers that her father might still be alive, she finds herself returning to a world and a prince she never imagined she would see again. Will Ariel be able to overthrow the murderous villain set on destroying her home and the world she once longed to be a part of? Follow this tale of power, love and a mermaid's quest to reclaim her voice. See, now I've read the blurb, now it's all coming back to me. And yes, I did thoroughly enjoy this. I really like the fact that there had to be cunning plans, plots with animals and humans. There was also a bit of politics that people had to get in on, and I enjoyed the fact as well that they didn't make Ariel shy away from the politics throughout it. It was really, really good. So I did enjoy that, and I do think I will keep that at 4 stars. So my final 2 were definitely reads that I have shouted about pretty much to everybody, and that is House of the Chicken Legs by Sophie Anderson. I absolutely adored this. I sobbed. Happy tears, sad tears, just all sorts of tears throughout it. But it was also light-hearted but heartwarming because of family relationships. And if you ever questioned whether you have appreciated the time spent with your grandparents, then you will get it. If you haven't ever questioned whether you appreciate the time you spent with your grandparents, you might do after reading this. I'm going to stop holding it up because it is quite foiled, so you just keep getting a glare. But Marinka dreams of a normal life where her house stays in one place long enough for her to make friends, but her house has chicken legs and moves on without warning. But Marinka's grandmother is Baba Yaga, who guides spirits between the world and the next. Marinka longs to change her destiny and sets out to break free from her grandmother's footsteps, but her house has other ideas. So this poor girl just keeps trying to make friends, she keeps trying to make a life for herself, and every time she feels like she's getting somewhere, her house up and leaves. And she's determined not to become a Yaga like her Baba. And yeah, I guess it's just she's trying to find herself, and it is just cute. The entire way through it is. I love how stubborn she is, I love how stubborn her grandmother is, but I also love the fact that at no point does her grandmother ever hold anything against her for it. So my next one from Sophie Anderson is The Girl Who Speaks Bear, and that is about a girl called Yanka who is trying to find out where she's from and trying to again find herself with the help of animals. It seems to be a recurring thing with Russian folklore, but this was so beautifully done. I enjoyed the fact that we had short stories to break up the overall story, because this was quite a bit longer than House with the Chicken Legs. And it was also really nice to feel the relationship building between Yanka and the other animals as these short stories were being told. It felt like she was learning more about herself, learning more about life and her heritage, rather than just random stories being thrown in here and there. I know that I gave The Girl Who Speaks Bear a 4, but I think I want to up that to a 5 just because talking about it has reignited my enjoyment for it, and yes, I did love that book. House of the Chicken Legs is staying at a 5, there is no way that is moving down. I also did read One of Us is Lying by Karen M. McManus, and I think I rated that as a 4. I don't physically have it because I passed it on to somebody else, because I'm not going to read it again. Unfortunately, as much as I enjoyed the story and I enjoyed the plot twist, I feel like it's one of those books where it's no longer enjoyable when you know the twist, and it's very difficult to forget the twist, because once I got to the end and I found out who did it, and it all just, everything then came smacking me in the face, and I was like, oh my gosh, yes, that means this and this means that. So rereading it, I would just sit through again and be like, yeah, I see it all now, and it won't be as enjoyable. So I thought I'd pass that on. I also have The Mermaid by Christina Henry, which I rated a 5 stars. I have passed that on to somebody to read because I really enjoyed the book. And that is the video done for all my ratings of 2019, 4 stars and 5 stars. Thank you for sticking around if you decided to. If you got this far, please don't forget to hit the like below and subscribe if you haven't already. I do look forward to seeing you in the next week's vlog, and I want to hear from you down in the comments below. Let me know if you're taking part in the owls, let me know if you're taking part in any other readathons. Just get chatting, I'd really like to hear from you. I'll see you next week. Bye!